is there an increased investigation in my family every time my phone rings or every time I receive a greeting or a letter? Why is every phone bill of mine intensely scrutinized? The answer is the feeling of concern. And mark you, my friends, it is this feeling of concern that asks me to talk the matter out with my parents. And talks do bring us together. Because my relation with my parents is not defined by the same O positive that we share. There is a greater binding force, an affinity which cannot be attacked or weakened by any element. A force which, like a virtuous soul, is eternal. Good afternoon. Here's an interesting comparison between the ages. A person going abroad in the 60s would eventually settle there, would lose all sorts of touch with his family. Why? Because of a lack of technology. The poor mother would cry, would groan, would mourn for years together, keeping an eye on the door, and eventually rest to peace. But in contrast, when a youth of today goes abroad, he receives a warm and a heartfelt send-off. He stays in constant touch with his parents and makes for a happy family. It is because of the abundance of technology that we have managed to limit the formality factor which once existed between relations. My father had very limited conversations with his father. But in comparison to that, I have lighter moments with my father, whether it is a discussion regarding the 2G scam or about my personal domains. These talks bring us together. They help us confiding in each other and makes for a happy relation. If we consider acts like embracing someone, hugging someone, physical presence as the prerequisites for maintaining personal touch, then the term called pen friends would have long back ceased to exist, so much so that the famous Lady Mountbatten and Pandit Nehru romance would have never occurred. Television stepped in India 40 years back. Internet 15 and the possible ringtone device some 10 years back. And with these facts in mind, let me for a moment accept the fact that technology does cause a lack of personal touch. Then can any one of you explain the existence of old age homes or daily family strives in the pre-independence era when none of the above mentioned technologies ever existed? Today we criticize technology for causing a lack of personal touch. Tomorrow we may come down heavily on the boarding schools of India for they keep a child away from their parents for months together. The very reputed Doons, Anar, RAMCs, Vedans and Mayos which have shaped the finest of men. Being critical of technology is one thing, but to snub it when we use it every single second is mere hypocrisy. In a scenario where most of us prefer to send our sons and daughters to the Symbiosis and Fergusons of Pune or to the Stephens of Delhi, thus creating geographical distances on ground, how can we at the very next moment be blaming technology for causing a lack of personal touch when it binds us with our loved ones? Isn't it a mockery? It is due to technology that I learned about 9/11 or 26/11. These tragedies did melt my heart and made me a better human. I may not have shown the same sympathy for those who suffered, but mark you, my friend, I did try and replicate the same feelings and same emotions for those near me. This is what technology taught me. In today's world, relationships are made on Facebooks and Orkuts. They bloom on web chats and break on cell phone messages. With such a fast pace of makeups and breakups, a youth either carries the melancholy or the hilarious expressions that invite the concern of his parents. A thing which could have hardly happened in the age devoid of technology when the youth would have carried the same stereotype expression day in and day out. And if we are still not convinced, do we have it in us to talk to the mother who stays in touch with us and defending the borders on the Siachen Glacier or in the deserts of Jaisalmer? Can we speak this fact to the families of NASA or ISRO who stay in touch with their loved ones in the outer space? Or can we speak so to the families of 33 Chilean miners who were trapped underground for 69 days? Possibly we cannot. Let us not limit the scope of our discussion to social networking sites alone. Pagers, telegrams, couriers, bouquets, greeting cards and many things come under the purview of technology in communication. I never saw anyone criticizing a hair roller or a PowerPoint presentation or for that matter a daily dose of Big Boss or a Saas Bahu show. But yes, whenever it did not suit our interest, we always came up and blamed it. I would rather walk an extra mile to thank technology for helping me re-strengthen and rediscover my long-lost relations. We have lost years together by criticizing, cold shouldering or blaming anything that is successful or beneficial. But someone has rightly said, it is the birthright of everything successful to be criticized. It's high time we tasted optimism and appreciated something. Technology has become the extension of one's social life. Criticism may or may not be a part of it. But when the modern society renders people faceless, social networking sites and cell phones can be a wonderful antidote. As the term Facebook suggests, it does give people a face. Thank you.